Knights of the Old Republic series is rumored to be in develop at Lucasfilm. As the new year begins, speculation about Star Wars projects continues to swirl, or I would say is always swirling. Industry insider Daniel Richtman recently claimed on his Patreon that a new Star Wars series set during the Knights of the Old Republic era is in development at Lucasfilm. The potential series would explore a timeline set 4,000 years before the rise of the Galactic Empire, far removed from other upcoming projects like the Acolyte. The KOTOR Era, as made famous by Bioware's beloved 2003 video game, remains a fan favorite corner of Star Wars lore. However, Rickman clarified the rumored series would not necessarily adapt the game's storyline, but instead would take place in that same distant past. While exciting, such rumors should be approached with caution. Lucasfilm is reportedly juggling multiple ideas for future Disney Plus content. As recently as mid-2024, insiders suggested the studio was exploring new series concepts, and Disney executive Alan Bergman hinted at the possibility in an interview with Vulture. Lucasfilm's immediate slate includes Ahsoka Season 2, currently in pre-production, and Andor Season 2, slated for an April 22nd release. With Star Wars Celebration on the horizon, fans might see a splashy announcement about future projects, potentially including one set in the Old Republic. Meanwhile, updates on the KOTOR game remake remain elusive. Announced 3 years ago, the game has switched developers and faced delays, leaving fans eager for more news in 2025. For now, the galaxy, especially as relates to Knights of the Old Republic, remains full of possibilities. Pete, here's my question for you in regards to the story. A Knights of the Old Republic series, is that a boom or is that a bust? Because we know a million people who love that game. It goes back to like Shadows of the Empire and old school, old EU days. Is that something that's going to be a home run because there's a huge pocket of KOTOR people that want it? Or is it going to be a bust because there's people like me who the only experience I have is I tried to play it on my iPhone a couple of years ago and got frustrated and gave it up and don't really have a connection with it. And even as a lifelong Star Wars fan, I'll go, I don't know. Where do you come down on KOTOR as a TV show?
Well, so it's interesting because we're talking about how most things that we hear about, we go, sounds interesting. Maybe it'll work. Here's my hot take on the Knights of the Old Republic game show. Should it happen? And I'm not even sure that it would actually happen. I think it's I think this is a rumor that's coming out from people who want it. I don't think it's necessarily something that we would definitely get. I also feel like I almost hope they do it, and I hope it's as successful as the Acolyte. I mean that in the most obnoxious way possible, because I don't think a lot of people are going to care. Right? When we think about and we think again, I'm always talking about sort of that bolus, that main sort of center section of Star Wars fans, the people who are going to Disney World, the people who are buying Grogu shirts, the people who are doing those sort of basic things. I don't think they're going to care. It also depends greatly on who puts it together and who's responsible for it and how it's done. They're toying with Knights of the Old Republic and the first Jedi from 25,000 years before. I think this is a dangerous place, because I think if you look at what sells, if you look at what the common fan likes, it's the Luke Skywalkers, it's the Grogus, it's the Mandos. It's not the High Republic, and it's not even Rey and Ren. I hate to say it. So it's as Chris says right there on the screen, it's a huge gamble, and I'm not sure that I don't think it would pay off.
And he follows that up too. He says, unless it's a series of cutscenes with zero dialogue and all action and lightsabers flying all over the place, those fans will probably hate it.
Well, that's just it too, right? Because this is one of those danger zones, right? It's like if they tried to do the the one of the old EU books, it would not satisfy the fans. Trying to do this, there's people who are probably already, they've got their YouTube channel all set to go and start destroying this before.
And sometimes it's okay to leave something alone. I mean, I love the original Timothy Zahn Thrawn trilogy. It's one of my it's probably my favorite Star Wars book or books, period, end of sentence. It's not technically canon. I know we have Thrawn, I know we have whatever. But if they said, hey, we're going to remake that into a show or a movie, I'd be like, no, thanks. Like, I don't think I want that. Like, let me have it where I found it when I was in 7th grade or 8th grade or whenever it came out. Like, let that one live there, and let's go in that new direction that I've already said I'm not sure about, which is James Mangold's movie.
100%. I'm with you on that completely.